thank you so much for being here. Lord Timpson has been Minister of State for Prisons, Probation and Reducing Reoffending since only June of this year. And I don't think there's a single person in this room who wouldn't say that they met your appointment with sheer delight. So immense thank you for being here. And I know this subject's very close to your heart.
Thank you, Bishop Rachel. Thank you everyone for coming here today. I feel I'm really in a room amongst friends, some of you who I've known for a long, long time. And when I first started the idea of the Employment Advisory Board, basically I phoned up a few of my friends to say, listen, I sort of underplayed the whole thing, to say, Rosie, who's here, who very kindly took over from me on running the EABs, would you mind just going to this prison and just sort of talking to the governor, setting up, maybe meet some other employers, bring them along, and just try and sort out the whole employment stuff. And then Ollie, who's at the back there, I tapped you up, I remember that conversation very well. And Duncan, who's here from New Futures Network, was a fantastic support. And I think it worked because of three reasons. Firstly, a lot of people are looking for something to do to help people, but don't really know how to find it. And when you put it on a plate for someone, they often just grab the opportunity. The other is that when you're a business person, when you get a challenge like going into a prison and finding people who can get jobs and matching them with employers and fixing it all up, there's no better high than anything you could do in business than finding someone in a prison who is at their lowest ebb and then seeing them in the company uniform being a proud colleague is absolutely fantastic. And I think the other reason why it worked is because as business people, and I still see myself as a business person really, we're always looking for great people because we know great people are great colleagues, people like working with them, and at the end of the day they help our business perform and make money. And when you find 2 or 3 people who have lived experience of prison and you put them in our case a shop or a factory or a warehouse, and you see them thrive, you know you just want more and more of them. So when I first met Paul 20 odd years ago, and compared to now, the world of employing people from prison has changed dramatically. That when I first used to go into prisons, no one ever used to go in. Now I'm competing with all of you here. And I remember about a year before I got this job, we were very excited to go into Drake Hall on a recruitment day, which is a women's prison in Staffordshire. And we had quite a few vacancies to fill, but Greg's had been in there the week before and nicked all the good people. So we've gone from, when we first started the EABs, 14% of people leaving prison had a job after 6 months, and we're now over 30%. And that's not just down to the Employment Advisory Boards, it's down to a lot of the support of other people as well. But I think what we've done now is the easy bit. We've done the easy bit of setting up the boards and finding the people who are really ready for employment, and the transition from prison to work is more straightforward. We've now got to start thinking about the more complex people leaving prison and the more complex needs around housing, health support, addiction support. And I remember I always quite like a challenge, and one of the first people I ever took on from prison, sadly he's died now, is a guy called Terry. And the governor of Liverpool at the time said, you can take him on, but no one has ever managed to help Terry. He's been in and out of this prison ever since I joined here 30 years ago. And so we had to get the methadone in the fridge, we had to book him with all his appointments, and even though Terry died a couple of years ago, his daughter and son still work in the Timpson business. So I think we all like a challenge, but we need to really start thinking about the more complex people who are leaving prison. But Rosie, your 2 asks around national insurance and apprenticeship levy, don't worry, I've already had those conversations. One of the great things, I can't say we're going to get a result on it, but one of the things that I'm really hoping to do in this job is to do all the things need to be done. And also, Bishop Rachel, when you mentioned about evidence, to me, we have so much evidence of what works. And what I'm really hoping for is, even though that I've come into this job at a very difficult time in our prisons, this big problem will lead to a big opportunity for us to try and sort this. And the sentencing review that's been announced, I think, is going to be a really important part of that. But never underestimate how important your role is, not just those of you with lived experience, Craig, who've taken that decision to embrace the opportunity that you have been given, but also all of you who support the employers as well, because the number of Ministry of Justice colleagues and other people who from the third sector who support us. So I think what we've done is create something that is incredible with the Employment Advisory Board, and I cannot thank Rosie enough for agreeing to take over from me. I know it was a bit rushed in the end, wasn't it? We had our plan, but it was a bit rushed in the end. But I'd be really interested to see over the next 5 years how we can develop as hopefully the prisons and probation improves as well. So I know I've got a lot on my to-do list, but the inspiration that you give me and the knowledge I've learnt over the last 20 years has hopefully put me in a good position to be able to work with you all to try and solve the problems that we all know. So watch this space. I'm hoping to be in the job for quite a long time because there's a lot that needs to be done. But I am genuinely really confident and excited that we can do it. I can't do it on my own, but I think we can change the way this is going. I went to Manchester Prison on Friday because we've had an urgent notification from the prison. And I've been to Manchester Prison a number of times. It's Keith's local, and it's a place where it's where I was brought up. And I've never seen the prison in such a bad state. Sewers collapsed, rats running everywhere, parts of the buildings falling down, cells in disrepair, and it was just not a good atmosphere at all. And I've been around a lot of prisons and I know when it's not right. The governor of their team are doing a fantastic job in really difficult circumstances, but it just proves what a long way we've got to go to get to a position where people who are in prison have all the opportunities given to them so they can leave and not go back. So thank you for your support. Thank you so much, Bishop Rachel, for today. And also for your really kind questions to me. Because when you're standing up for the first time in the House of Lords and it's really scary, and you see the lovely Rachel standing there asking a kind question. So thank you very, very much.
I think it's fair to say that in that first debate that we were having around criminal justice, there were lots of us sitting there crossing things out as we went along because we're so used to standing up and bringing that challenge. And then you were saying things, we go, oh yeah, well, okay, that tick that off. So that's why they were kind, but they won't always be kind, I'm sure.